Jeg kan mærke, at der skal ske noget. Her starter jo min historie.
Well, first of all, I mean, congratulations for this amazing film. It's incredible. But first of all, I want to ask you, Jonas, it's a family movie, it's a redemption movie, it's also a friendship movie. So my first question is, I mean, I think it's the principal one. How was your relationship with Amin when he started talking to you about this amazing life story? What was this moment, or maybe this anecdote he was talking to you, that you said, okay, I have to convert this story to a movie?
But you know, it was really the idea from the very first moment that this should be a film. I just didn't know the scope of it, if it should be like a short film or if it should be a feature or whatnot. But you know, it really comes from, I met Amin when I was 15 years old, when he arrived all by himself to my little village in Denmark from Afghanistan, and we became good friends. And I was curious about how and why he had come, but he didn't want to talk about it. And this, of course, made me curious, but I, of course, also respected that he didn't want to talk about it. And this thing kind of became this black box in our friendship and was something that was always there. So when he said, okay, but actually now I feel a need to share the story, I was extremely happy to be the one he wanted to share it with. And I think we just kind of went with it and said, okay, but let's try. We do the first interviews and see how it goes. And then, you know, that's almost 10 years ago, and here we are. So it just kind of grew from a very small idea to be what it is now.
Har du nogensinde fortalt din livshistorie før?
And now you were talking about you didn't know if it's going to be a short film, it could be anything else. How was this decision made that it had to be a movie, an animated movie, not a real action documentary, or maybe a mini series? How did you come up with this idea that it had to be an animated documentary?
But actually, I was approached by this workshop here in Denmark called Anidocs, where they invite animators and documentary filmmakers to develop ideas for animated documentaries. And they asked me if I had an idea. And I then thought about Amin's story and thought, okay, but maybe this is a good way to tell his story. And I met him and asked him if he wanted to share his story, and then I would turn it into an animated story. And he hadn't told me anything at that point. But he was really intrigued by the fact that he could be anonymous behind the animation because, you know, it's his life trauma. And it's not easy for him to talk about. So the fact that he didn't have to be in the public eye with the story, so people would all of a sudden know his innermost secrets, you know, people at work or at the supermarket. I think the anonymity was really what enabled him to start opening up. So from the very beginning, it was thought of as an animated documentary. And also because, you know, when you do stories about things that happened in the past, you always struggle with like, how do you make it come back alive? And here I thought, okay, but animation is a great tool to make Afghanistan in the 80s and Moscow in the 90s and his childhood home come back alive.
Kaboul, les attaques des Moudjahidines repris.
How was Amin's reaction when he saw the movie? I mean, I know he's behind the curtains, but did he go to the premiere maybe? I mean, I'm just asking, how was his reaction? Because it had to be something very emotional for both of you. It was a journey for both of you guys. So how was his reaction after seeing everything that's been happening to the movie?
No, but it was a very emotional experience for both of us. And you know, we saw it before it came out. So we just sat together at his place and saw the film. And you know, the film was done. We just sat for a little bit. And then he looked at me and said, I don't know if this is a good film. You know, like he can't separate his own emotions to his own story with the filmmaking. And it's not an easy watch for him. It's difficult to see it because it is about his traumas. So for him, when the film got out and he could see that people really took it in and could relate to his story, it was really meaningful to him. And he was really happy to see that people could relate to his story because, you know, being double marginalized, he was a little concerned that people wouldn't be able to, you know, being both gay and being a refugee.
Hvad betyder ordet hjem for dig?
Hjem er noget, som trygt.
And for the last question, Jonas, after all the fleeing experiences, going to awards, talking with other refugees, for this new Jonas, what's your definition of home?
But, you know, I think I learned that from Amin. You know, a home is a place where you feel safe. it's a place where you feel you can be who you are with everything that entails, and you don't have to hide anything. Yeah.